Hi, Mick McQuaid here, and you're looking at my terminal, which is probably a lot different from your terminal. On my website, mickmcquaid.com, there is a tab called Welcome to the Command Line, and if you visit that, you can find out how I did this. But I warn you, it's a very involved process, and you can just open some terminal windows and tab back and forth between them if you want. You won't get all the features that I have here. I've got quite a lot of things going on here that help me because I work at the command line every day. And what I have mainly here are three window panes. On the left is a pane in an editor, a text editor called Vim, and I'm looking at a file called scratchpad.sql. And then on the right side, I have two smaller panes, both of which are in the SQLite examples folder, and one of which I'm going to run SQLite in. So I'm just going to say SQLite 3. And notice that it tells me that I can say it gives me the version number, which is different from yours probably, because I've installed a special version. And by the way, in my Welcome to the Command Line, it also tells you how to install a special version. It says that you can say .help for usage hints. Those are SQLite commands. They're not SQL commands. They begin with a dot and they don't require a semicolon at the end. Then it says here that I'm connected to a transient in-memory database, and that's because I just said SQLite. I didn't say SQLite and then the name of a database. So now if I want to use a database, I'm going to have to say .open and then the name of the database. And you can see over here in this pane that that's exactly what I've said. So I'm going to copy and paste from here over to here. Okay, so see, I have a special facility for copying and pasting between window panes that simplifies things for me and requires fewer keystrokes. But again, that's very involved to set up. Now, in order to create this, I would have to say read library.sql, except that I've already done that. So there's actually already a library.db file. And I can see that. The reason I can see that is because here I've listed the contents of this directory by saying ls, and one of the files is library.db. So I can just go straight to saying tables, and that will tell me the tables in library.db. There's an authors table and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other tables. So I'm going to take a look. This video is about joining tables together. So I'm going to look at two of the tables which I'm going to join together. The first one is books. So I'm going to say schema books, .schema books. And you can see that I have in there book ID, title, publisher ID, and year. And if I go to the schema for publishers, I see I have publisher ID and the publisher's name, which is just called publisher. So if I want to show the titles of the books and their publishers, I need to join these two together because this table has the title and this table has the name of the publisher. But I join them by finding matching publisher IDs, and that's exactly what happens here. So, and I use a special notation, so when I'm using multiple tables, I have to specify the table dot the name of the column in the table. So I'm books dot title and publishers dot publisher, and as a result, you can probably guess that dot is illegal as a character in a table name or a column name, because whenever it sees a name with a dot in it, SQLite assumes, and any SQL database will assume, that the thing on the left is the name of a table and the thing on the right is the name of a column. So I'm using the books and publishers tables. I'm taking these from books and joining them with publishers. And the way that I'm joining them is on publisher ID in books and publisher ID in publishers. So let's see if that works. Obviously, I've tried these before, so I know they work. And indeed it works, but it's kind of ugly. I don't really like the way that it looks. So I'm going to change. So notice that what's happened is I have the title, and then I have the pipe character, and then I have the publisher name. And that's because the mode is list. So I'm going to change the mode to column. That's going to put these in better looking columns. And now if I do the same query again, it'll show up in better looking columns. However, it's still not great because it's in a sort of random order. A lot of titles here. Title and publisher. By the way, I think in list mode I don't even get the headers, do I? Let's see if I get the headers. Yeah, I don't get the headers in list mode. So the headers, title and publisher, the headers and then the dashes afterward signifying the length of the longest entry don't appear in list mode. Now I can do other modes. I could do HTML mode and I would get HTML tables, and that's good if you want to like copy it into a report, for example. Okay, now as I said, this is in a kind of a random order, so I'm going to order it by title here. So I'm going to select, I'm doing exactly the same thing as I did before. I'm selecting title and publisher from books, joining it to publisher on publisher ID, but now I'm ordering it by title. And now what I get is the thing in alphabetical order. However, unlike a lot of libraries that dispense with the articles, this is a strict alphabetical order. So all the thes are together, as you can see. When we have, look at that, we have 4 different copies of Kingdom of the Gods, for example. I think they're in different media, is the thing. We have hardcover, softcover, digital edition, and audiobooks. Or maybe we have more than that. Do we? All these seem to have 4. So I guess we have, yeah, I guess we have 4. Okay, so now, and you know what? There's one other thing I forgot to do here. I'm going to have to add. Well, I'll do that later. Let me do a little bit more elaborate of a join here. So I'm going to take the same joining stuff, and I'm going to get a count of the publishers. How many titles there are for each publisher. And we see that Tor Books is the leader with 48. They're all multiples of 4 because we have the 4 different kinds of media, I guess, for each publisher. But there's something, I mean, for each title. But there's something dissatisfying about this to me. I like numbers to be right justified. I think this should have been right justified. So I've taken the liberty to, over here, do the same query, but so that it will be right justified. So I'm using a function now. So, by the way, count is a function. Count, there are a wide variety of functions available in SQLite as in pretty much any SQL database. Although actually SQLite has fewer functions available than many of the others. So this one is going to return them right justified. Okay, now and ordered in descending order by count. And notice that I said as count in both cases. So that instead of the title of that column being count publishers publisher, the title of the column is just count. You can see right there. And I've ordered it by count in descending order. So we get the largest one first. You could cut off the word descending and just say order by count, and you would get the opposite result. I often do that because the upper lines scroll off the screen, and if I want to know the most, then Now I notice there's a mistake here. This should read Little Brown, and there's also a mistake in books. There's an error there. Let's see. I'm going to fix this error, so I'm going to do this in a couple of stages. So I'm going to say select star from publishers where publisher. Now I have an AI thing in here that auto completes. So it's trying to autocomplete, it's trying to guess. Let's see if this works. Okay, so the publisher, oh wow, this is a interesting problem here. I think that this shouldn't be a floating point number. The publisher ID should be an integer. But in the file, let's take a look at the file that created it, which is what do I say? 3. Yeah, okay. And yeah, see, we've said double, and what's happened is that SQLite has converted this to real. And what we should have said here, I'm going to leave it alone for now, but what we should have said here was integer instead. And then SQLite wouldn't have converted it at all. So anyway, my publisher ID is 20. So what I want to do is say update. Oh wow, it knows the real name. So the AI is actually useful in this case. Except it's saying it doesn't understand what the error is. Okay, and notice I have a quotation mark in here, so I'm going to have to use single quotes, or what do you call it, an apostrophe, instead of quotation mark, because it won't understand having 2 quotation marks in a row. It'll assume that that's a null value. So let's see if we can do this. Update publishers, set publisher. Actually, I don't know if this will work. Let me try this, and if it doesn't work, the reason that I said select star was because I wanted to get the publisher ID, and I wanted to say where publisher ID equals 20.0, but I'm going to try this and see if it works. So now I'm going to say this again, and it did work. Okay, so these 2 cases are have been corrected. I'm kind of like, I mean, there are 4 that said little, so why are there only 2 here? I'm a little puzzled by that. Anyway, there's also an error in the books, so I'm going to what's books? One of the book titles has this in it. So let's see if we can find that title. Yeah, the quest for Kush. Should be the quest for Kush. So this, by the way, both these were put in here intentionally by, both of these errors were put in intentionally by Stan Gunn, just to demonstrate updating. So here again we would do, well, we didn't do as great a job. Set title equals the quest for Kush. Where title equals the quest for Kush. Whoops, that was already okay. So I'll do that. And now if I say, if I do this one, I should get no result. Yeah, see, I get no result because there's no longer an FO followed by a space. The percent characters are wildcard characters, so they match anything. But the space only matches a space, of course. Okay, so that's it for this short video. I hope you enjoy doing some experimenting with the library database and doing some joins there. We're going to do another video with some more elaborate joins next.